Hello, my name is Daryl Posey, and for today's discussion, I chose the Quakers. The reason I chose the Quakers is because even though I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and we often had heard about the Quakers settling there, we didn't know much about them, or I didn't know much about them, other than they were called the Society of the Friends, and that they were such a large part in the beginning of our state. Um, we didn't realize how they had actually spread out to other colonies, and they were as large as they were. We also didn't learn much of the basics. Um, the colonies of America and religion are intertwined from even the very start. Um, so one of the first main groups to settle in the new land was the Quakers. They settled in a colony started by William Penn that would become known as Pennsylvania, and they were a peace-loving group with the nickname Society of Friends. They were led originally by a man by the name of George Fox, and so upon colonizing these colonies, they immediately started sending kind of missionaries out to other colonies like Boston and whatnot. As they would do it, the Bostonians would whip and fine and mistreat the Quakers that would come visit. And the Quakers, with their mission of love and peace and tolerance, just kept sending people back until finally 4 of them were actually hung and martyred. Um, even though this happened, Pennsylvania and the Quakers actually they became one of the most religiously tolerant places in the world, as long as that person believed in one God. One of the earliest religious leaders, or one of the, not earliest, but one of the religious leaders named John Woolman, he lived from 1720 to 1772, and he was one of the first to really hit hard with the anti-slavery effort. His charge against against slavery actually helped the colony of Rhode Island become less involved in the slave trade, even though this was one of the busiest slave ports in the colonies. The Quakers, even though they usually stayed away from conflict, were actually one of the first groups to kind of denounce slavery and call it out. This kind of caused an issue with the Quakers, as some of them, even though they believed it was evil, wanted to kind of stay out of it because they thought that they should not cause conflict, not create problems in the government, whereas other people in the Quaker religion believed that they had to say something and do something because they were so tolerant and friendly. The Quakers were a huge part of the beginning of the country. They settled in many places, helped create many colonies, and they created a love and tolerance no matter what they faced. It's sad that they are practically a historical organization that isn't around in current times. So it's sad to see that they've kind of fallen into the annals of history. So their foothold in the colonies was at one time massive, and their religion was at one time considered the most tolerant in the world. And even though it seems like it would be that tolerant because you were forced to believe in one God, it seems kind of restrictive. But during this time period, that was actually a huge step forward where they were willing to accept any version of Christianity. Thank you guys for listening today, and I hope my post was somewhat informative and interesting, and I look forward to discussion. Thank you very much.